Dear brothers and sisters, the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us a timeless truth when he said, Allah will not be merciful to those who are not merciful to mankind. This profound statement opens our hearts to reflect on a deeper reality. Allah's blessings flow abundantly when we align our lives with His divine commands and choose the path of complete surrender. But let me ask you, dear brothers and sisters, what does it truly mean to surrender to Allah? Is it an act of weakness or defeat? No, it is quite the opposite. To surrender to Allah is not about giving up on life, dreams or struggles. It is about letting go of the illusion of control and placing your full, unwavering trust in the wisdom of the Almighty. It is about acknowledging that the Creator of the heavens and the earth knows what is best for you, even when the storms of life leave you feeling lost or overwhelmed. Allah, in His infinite mercy and love, reminds us of this truth in the Quran. And whoever places their trust in Allah, He will be sufficient for them. Surah At-Talaq 65:3. Think about this for a moment, my dear listeners. How often do we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, convinced that we alone must fix everything? How often do we allow fear, anxiety, and uncertainty to drown out our faith? Yet Allah promises that when we surrender our worries to Him, He becomes sufficient for us. What more could the heart desire than the assurance that the most powerful, the most merciful, is taking care of our affairs? In today's video, we will explore 5 profound reasons why surrendering to Allah opens the doors to His infinite blessings. Whether you're searching for peace in your heart, clarity in your decisions, or a way out of life's struggles, this message is for you. Listen closely, because perhaps this is the reminder your soul has been waiting for, the gentle nudge to realign your heart with the one who loves you more than anyone else ever could. Are you ready to discover the blessings that await you? Number 1. Surrendering brings peace to your heart. One of the greatest gifts of surrendering to Allah is the peace it brings to your heart. Life is filled with uncertainties, struggles, and constant demands. Trying to control everything on your own can lead to stress, anxiety, and frustration. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, reminds us in the Quran, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. This verse serves as a beautiful reminder that true tranquility does not come from material success or fleeting comforts. It comes when we let go of our worries and place our trust in Allah. You might ask yourself, if I surrender to Allah, does that mean I shouldn't work hard or plan for my future? Absolutely not. Surrendering to Allah does not mean abandoning effort. It means combining effort with tawakkul, trust. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam beautifully illustrated this balance when he said, "Tie your camel and then rely on Allah." This hadith teaches us a powerful lesson. We must do our part, work hard, plan wisely, and take action. But after that, we leave the outcome to Allah. When you pair your efforts with faith, your heart finds peace. Why? Because you know that you've done your best, and the rest is in the hands of the one who controls all things. Let us reflect on the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. When he stood with his people before the Red Sea, with Pharaoh's army closing in behind them, fear gripped his followers. The situation seemed hopeless, but Musa alayhi salam displayed unwavering trust and declared with confidence, "Indeed, my Lord is with me. He will guide me." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:62. In that moment of surrender, Allah parted the sea, turning the impossible into reality. This story reminds us that when we place our trust in Allah, He will open paths for us in ways we cannot imagine. Yet, dear brothers and sisters, it is natural to feel frustration at times. Perhaps you've wondered, why do others seem to have more wealth, success, or ease than me? Remember, Allah distributes provisions and tests as He wills. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ offered us wise counsel when he said, "Look at those who are below you and not those who are above you, as it will make you appreciate Allah's favors upon you." Surrendering to Allah means trusting that your blessings are perfectly designed for your journey. What may appear as a test or challenge for you could be the very thing that brings you closer to Allah and strengthens your faith. Finally, surrendering your heart to Allah often involves letting go of emotional burdens, such as resentment or the inability to forgive. You might ask, how can I forgive someone who has hurt me deeply? Know that forgiveness does not mean allowing harm to continue. It means freeing yourself from the chains of anger and placing your trust in Allah's justice. As the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Be merciful to others, and you will receive mercy. Forgive, and Allah will forgive you." True surrender includes trusting Allah to handle injustices, while you focus on maintaining your peace and earning His reward. Dear brothers and sisters, if your heart feels heavy, restless, or burdened by life's challenges, know this. Surrendering to Allah does not mean giving up. It means entrusting your worries to the one who loves you, protects you, and controls all matters. Only then will your heart find the peace and rest it longs for. Number 2. Surrendering reconnects you with true relationships. One of the most profound challenges of our time is navigating relationships that often feel shallow and transactional. In a world where wealth, status, and outward appearances dominate, it is easy to feel disconnected, even surrounded by people. But Allah reminds us in the Quran, "Wealth and children are but adornment of the worldly life, but the enduring good deeds are better to your Lord for reward and better for one's hope." Surah Al-Kahf 18:46. This verse is a powerful reminder that while material possessions may appear important, they are fleeting and temporary. What truly endures are the sincere actions we perform and the genuine connections we build. Yet, you may find yourself asking, why do people only see my wealth, my status, or what I can provide? Why don't they see me for who I really am? This is a painful reality in a society where character is often overshadowed by appearances. But here lies a comforting truth. Allah does not measure you by what you own, but by the purity of your heart and your intentions. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ emphasized this when he said, "Indeed, Allah does not look at your appearance or wealth, but He looks at your heart and deeds." Sahih Muslim. When you surrender to Allah, you begin to free yourself from the need for worldly validation. Your relationships transform as you seek connections rooted in faith, sincerity, and mutual striving towards righteousness. Ask yourself, am I seeking friendships that bring me closer to Allah, or am I holding on to bonds that pull me away from Him? Another struggle many of us experience is the pain of strained relationships due to financial differences. Perhaps you've asked yourself, how do I remain at peace when I feel judged or distanced because I cannot meet others' material expectations? Remember, true peace lies in recognizing that the value of a relationship is not determined by what you have, but by the sincerity of how you support each other in goodness. If someone distances themselves from you solely because of material reasons, do not grieve. That loss is, in fact, a form of Allah's protection. He removes those who were not meant to walk with you on this path of faith. Reflect on this. Would I rather keep the company of people who care about my possessions, or those who care about my hereafter? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave us profound wisdom when he said, "A person is upon the religion of their close friend, so let each of you look to whom you take as a friend." Sunan Abu Dawud. Another struggle many of us experience is the pain of strained relationships due to financial differences. Perhaps you've asked yourself, how do I remain at peace when I feel judged or distanced because I cannot meet others' material expectations? Remember, true peace lies in recognizing that the value of a relationship is not determined by what you have, but by the sincerity of how you support each other in goodness. If someone distances themselves from you solely because of material reasons, do not grieve. That loss is, in fact, a form of Allah's protection. He removes those who were not meant to walk with you on this path of faith. Reflect on this. Would I rather keep the company of people who care about my possessions, or those who care about my hereafter? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave us profound wisdom when he said, "A person is upon the religion of their close friend, so let each of you look to whom you take as a friend." Sunan Abu Dawud. You might still wonder, is it wrong to step away from people who are only interested in what I can give them? The answer lies in your intention. Islam teaches us to treat others with kindness and dignity, yet we are also commanded to guard our hearts. Distancing yourself from insincere connections is not an act of malice. Rather, it is a form of self-preservation and prioritization of your faith. Ask yourself, am I surrounding myself with people who help me draw nearer to Allah, or am I letting my spirit be drained by relationships that lack sincerity? Surrendering to Allah allows you to make this choice with clarity and grace. You begin to realize that your worth is not defined by worldly measures, but by how close your heart is to your Creator. In a world that constantly urges us to desire more wealth, more possessions, and more status, it's natural to ask, how do I remain content when society tells me I should always have more? The answer lies in surrendering to Allah's decree and cultivating gratitude for what you already have. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ beautifully said, "Richness is not having many possessions, but richness is being content with oneself." Sahih al-Bukhari. This is the essence of true wealth. When you surrender to Allah, you shift your perspective. Instead of yearning for what you lack, you trust that Allah has already given you exactly what you need. This contentment fills your heart with peace and reconnects you with the blessings you may have overlooked. Number 3. Surrendering opens the doors to guidance. One of the greatest gifts of surrendering to Allah is the door it opens to His guidance. Allah says in the Quran, "And those who strive for us, we will surely guide them to our ways. And indeed, Allah is with the doers of good." Surah Al-Ankabut 29:69. Surrendering does not mean giving up. It means trusting Allah's wisdom and opening your heart to His direction. Many of us struggle with decisions, feeling lost and uncertain. You may have asked, why does everything I plan seem to fail, even when I try my best? Sometimes our plans fail because Allah's plan is far greater than what we can imagine. He reminds us, "But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you, and Allah knows while you know not." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:16. This verse teaches us the essence of trust in surrendering, believing that Allah's wisdom surpasses our understanding. Have you ever considered that a closed door might be Allah redirecting you towards something better? You might ask, how do I know if Allah is guiding me? The answer lies in the changes within your heart and actions. If you feel a stronger desire to turn away from sin, to seek forgiveness, and to perform good deeds, these are signs of Allah's guidance. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "When Allah intends good for someone, He gives them understanding of the religion." Sahih al-Bukhari. In our modern lives, distractions like social media, societal pressures, and endless responsibilities can cloud our path. But when you surrender to Allah, it is as though the fog lifts, revealing the straight road ahead. You find clarity, peace, and purpose. Number 4. Surrendering helps you overcome doubts and distractions. Similarly, surrendering to Allah helps us overcome the doubts and distractions that hinder our faith. Allah promises, "Call upon me, I will respond to you. Surah Ghafir 40:60. This verse reassures us that Allah is always listening, even when we feel unseen or unheard. Have you ever felt that your prayers are unanswered? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explains, "There is no Muslim who calls upon Allah with a supplication that does not involve sin or cutting off family ties, but Allah will give him one of three things. He will either hasten his request, store it for him in the hereafter, or divert an evil of equal measure from him." Musnad Ahmad. Every sincere prayer is answered, though the response may not be in the way we expect. Trusting in this divine wisdom allows us to surrender fully to Allah. In a world full of distractions, you might wonder, how do I stay focused on my faith? The answer lies in creating intentional moments of stillness and remembrance. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The best remembrance of Allah is La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah." Sunan Ibn Majah. By dedicating a few moments each day to zikr, salah, or reading the Quran, you can realign your heart with Allah and rise above worldly chaos. Surrendering does not mean you won't face doubts or distractions. It means choosing to rely on Allah amidst them. Even in the chaos of life, trust that Allah is listening, guiding, and protecting you. Take small, consistent steps toward Him, and you will find peace in every moment of surrender. Number 5. Surrendering deepens gratitude. One of the most beautiful outcomes of surrendering to Allah is the ability to see and appreciate the blessings we often overlook. Allah says in the Quran, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor." Surah Ibrahim 14:7. This promise reminds us that gratitude not only brings barakah into our lives, but also strengthens our connection with Allah. However, in today's world, many of us measure blessings solely by material wealth, money, cars, or luxury lifestyles. This narrow focus blinds us to the countless other blessings Allah has given us. Think about your eyes. Can you truly put a price on the ability to see the faces of your loved ones, the beauty of nature, or even the words of the Quran? Or your hands? What value can you assign to being able to work, create, and hold your children? These are priceless gifts. Yet, Satan whispers to us, making us feel as though we have nothing if we lack material wealth. You might ask yourself, why do I still feel dissatisfied even when I have so much? This dissatisfaction often stems from forgetting Allah's blessings and focusing instead on what society tells us we need to be happy. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Look at those who are lower than you and do not look at those who are above you, for this will make you appreciate Allah's favor upon you." Sahih Muslim. Surrendering to Allah means shifting your perspective, seeing every day as a gift and every ability as a privilege. Satan's tactic is to create ingratitude by planting thoughts of inadequacy in our minds. He whispers, "You don't have enough. Look at what others have. Wealth, power, fame. You'll never be happy unless you have those too." But Allah reminds us in the Quran, "And Satan will say to his followers after the judgment has been passed, 'Indeed, Allah made you a true promise. I too made you a promise, but I failed you. I only called you, and you responded to me. So do not blame me. Blame yourselves." Surah Ibrahim 14:22. These whispers are traps, pulling us away from gratitude and leading us toward unending dissatisfaction. My dear brothers and sisters, true wealth lies in contentment and gratitude. The next time you feel overwhelmed by what you lack, take a moment to reflect on what you have: your health, your family, your faith. These are blessings that no amount of money can buy. Surrendering to Allah means acknowledging His favors, thanking Him for them, and trusting that He will continue to provide in ways you cannot imagine. My dear brothers and sisters, as we reach the end of this journey, let us reflect deeply on the importance of surrendering to Allah. Surrendering is not a loss, it is the greatest gain. It frees us from the chains of worldly expectations and grants us the peace, guidance and blessings we so earnestly seek. When we place our trust in Allah and submit to His divine wisdom, our lives are filled with purpose, contentment, and an unshakable connection to our Creator. Take these words as a gentle reminder to turn back to Allah, to trust His plans for you, and to thank Him for every blessing, both seen and unseen. Every step you take toward Him, He will multiply His mercy and blessings upon you. I thank you all for your time, your attention, and your open hearts in receiving this message. May Allah bless you abundantly, guide your steps, and fill your hearts with tranquility and gratitude. May Allah keep you steadfast on the straight path and grant you success in this life and the hereafter. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.